means that Africa is splitting into two new plates, the Somali plate and the Nubian plates. It is this huge crater, allowing us to see super far and far down. And we saw lions, elephants, wildebeests. I'm Camila, I make travel and geography related videos, and today we are zooming in on Tanzania. And I've been to Tanzania. In 2015, I traveled with Christian sports contact, to both Kenya and Tanzania for a whole month. Let's zoom in! Tanzania lies in East Africa, in the African Great Lakes region. I'll tell you more on that later. It borders Kenya, Mozambique, Malawi, Zambia, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Burundi, Rwanda, and Uganda. That's 8 countries! And the Indian Ocean to the east. There is a border dispute going on with Malawi over Lake Malawi. See, Tanzania thinks the border should go through the middle of the lake, but Malawi thinks the lake should belong to Malawi. And Tanzania has islands, like the 3 main islands of the Zanzibar archipelago: Zanzibar, Pemba Island, and Mafia Island, as well as Ukerewe Island and Lake Victoria. Tanzania is a name created from the names of the 2 states that unified to form Tanzania in 1964. Tanganyika and Zanzibar, taking the Tan from Tanganyika and the Zan from Zanzibar, adding an Ia to make it sound like a country, and there we got Tanzania. Tanzania is a big country, the 30th biggest country, just smaller than Egypt and bigger than Nigeria. With 55.8 million inhabitants, Tanzania comes on 25th place in population. In 1960, life expectancy was 43.6 years. In 2019, that number climbed up to 65.5 years. That's more than 20 years increase in life expectancy. Well done, Tanzania! The capital of Tanzania is Dodoma. The biggest city is Dar es Salaam. I took a flight from there returning home from Tanzania. And another bigger city is Mwanza. And now for the extreme points. The easternmost point lies in the south, in Msimbati. But we can go more south, here on the border with Mozambique. The westernmost point lies here in Lake Tanganyika, and the northernmost point lies as a straight line in Lake Victoria. Now we're measuring how regular the shape of the country is. We have the area of the rectangle. The area of Tanzania is about 945,000 square kilometers, so Tanzania covers 66% of the rectangle. That's pretty regular. Now we'll zoom in on the capital, Dodoma. Okay, we have Dodoma here in the center of the country. It's a pretty large metro area, I think. Here's the airport, there's a mosque, a church, primary school, college of business education. Okay, where can we go in Dodoma? Is there no place to go? Oh, here's a place we can go. Let's see what's happening here. Looks like we're outside of the city. These look like trucks. What is this? Twins Lodge. Maybe this is a place to stay in Dodoma? It's a nice and sunny day. It's a palm tree. And here are some more buildings. I've been to Africa multiple times, and often I've seen buildings that are under construction, and I didn't really understand why so many buildings were undone. But then I learned that maybe people are building them as they make the money. So when they make money, they will construct the house, and then they'll wait until they have more money. Of course, I'm not sure if that's what's happening here, but maybe that can be a reason. Guy on a motorcycle. What is that? Mountain or building? Okay, let's see what other places we can see. Let's also try there. Oh, this certainly is a big house. Maybe it is an important building. Look, I don't know if you noticed when I was zooming in into Dodoma, but it looked like the landscape was pretty arid, and I can see it here too. Earth is kind of red, there aren't too many trees, and I like it. I like a sunny climate, and a little less precipitation. Looks like a quiet neighborhood. Landscapes! Tanzania has just a fantastic landscape, and it's extremely varied. Let's start with the topography map. The first thing that I notice is that the elevation is pretty high at most places. over 1,000 meters in elevation in the central and northern parts. The average elevation of the country is about 1,200 meters above sea level, so that's pretty high. In the southeast, we can find coastal plains and river deltas and mangrove swamps. Tanzania also has tropical rainforests and savanna where the land receives less rainfall. The savanna landscape was the landscape I saw most when I was there. There are high arid plateaus, just look at the color of this, as well as mountain ranges, such as the Kipengere Range touching Lake Malawi, with summits of over 2,000 meters. Tanzania also has a number of volcanoes, like Mount Meru close to the city Arusha. It is so beautiful. The tallest point of Tanzania, you may have heard of it, is Mount Kilimanjaro. That makes Mount Meru look pretty tiny. The summit has an elevation of 5,895 meters, or 19,340 feet above sea level, so there's always snow and ice on top. Mount Kilimanjaro is a dormant volcano and is the tallest freestanding mountain in the world and the tallest point of all of Africa. The mountain really has two peaks, Kibo being the tallest and little brother Mwenzi. So Mount Kilimanjaro is the tallest point of all of Africa, but Tanzania also has the lowest point in Africa, which is found at the floor of Lake Tanganyika. So to sum up, Tanzania offers river coastal plains, mangrove swamps, tropical rainforests, savanna, high plateaus, mountain ranges, volcanoes, mountains, and I didn't even mention the waterfalls, canyons, and caves. Lakes. Tanzania lies in the African Great Lakes region, including Lake Victoria that we covered in the Uganda episode, Lake Tanganyika, which we now know has the lowest point of all of Africa, Lake Malawi, and Lake Rukwa. And this is an interesting series of lakes. Tanzania lies on the East African Rift, which is an active continental rift zone, starting all the way from Djibouti and extending south to Lake Malawi. This means that Africa is splitting into two new plates, the Somali plate and the Nubian plate. And this splitting leads to rifts and splits in the land, and the lakes in the African Great Lakes region lie in these splits. And that is probably why Lake Tanganyika is so deep. It is 1,470 meters at its deepest. It is the second largest lake by volume in the world and is the world's longest freshwater lake. As for Lake Malawi, it is the fourth largest lake by volume, and it is home to more species of fish than any other lake in the world, including at least 700 species of the fish family Cichlidae alone. Well, that's impressive. The last lake I want to mention is Lake Rukwa. Lake Rukwa is an alkaline lake, meaning it has a high pH value and lies at an elevation of about 800 meters. Rivers. A major river of Tanzania is the Rufiji River. It starts at the confluence of the Kilombero and the Wegu rivers in southwestern Tanzania. The coastal plains make it possible for the river to meander as it reaches the coast and forms this delta close to Mafia Island in the Indian Ocean. I like this part of the river where it's like 2 kilometers wide, splits and comes together again. Let's do random street view. Okay, big country. Where should we go? I'm gonna try here. I think it is around Serengeti National Park. Oh wow, what have we here? Tri-tank, 10,000 liters. Oh, but look at this view. Look at that tree. That looks like a special tree. And that landscape. This is the savanna landscape. Lots of trees, but yet lots of open spaces too. I really like this kind of landscape. Best practices for your safety. At the Serengeti Safari Lodge. And here are the safari cars. Safari is so much fun. I love road trips, and a safari is a completely different road trip than just traveling on the highways. But still, it's a lot of fun sitting in a car and looking out the window and seeing the landscapes and seeing animals. Yeah, and I guess you can stay here. Look at how far you can see. Whoa, this is certainly a view. And a pool there. This is a really beautiful picture. I like the yellow and the blue. What a view. Oh, so maybe those tanks are for the pool then. I want to see what happens there. Ooh, where have we landed? It's right there, that's for sure. What are we standing on? Maybe it is a... Oh yeah, I see it now. It's a car. Oh, that's a lake with the sun setting. It's a really open landscape. Looks like a savanna landscape here too. These green plants growing in the sand. It's fun exploring nature like this. Opposite side time. I put my ruler in the capital city Dodoma, move it for 20,000 kilometers around the globe, and we land in the Pacific Ocean. I believe the closest land belongs to the country Kiribati. Time for some travel suggestions. And of course, I want to tell you about my own experiences from Tanzania. We crossed the border from Kenya on this road and drove to Arusha. Arusha is an energetic and fun town. A landmark is the clock tower. It's a good place to meet up with people. There are nice cafes and a park, and they have a massive market where you can buy clothes and African souvenirs. After having been in Arusha, we drove to a real oasis. Yes, we drove about 4 hours, I think, south of Arusha. And the landscape there is pretty arid, but there was an oasis, a place with lots of big green trees and fresh water. We saw a turtle and we heard monkeys, so the oasis was definitely attracting life. In the water there were small black fish that ate our dead skin. I sat in the water for hours. And there was a guy there selling omelets with fries baked inside. And there were a lot of locals there too. It was such a fun day. We were also lucky to go on a safari. First we went to Lake Manyara National Park, where we saw monkeys and giraffes. We stayed at a lodge and slept in tents outside, and there was staff there on guard during the night to protect us from the wildlife. Well, that was pretty exciting. The next day we drove into Ngorongoro Conservation Area. It is this huge crater, allowing us to see super far and far down. But we also drove inside the crater, and we saw lions, elephants, wildebeests. Birds, hippos, zebras, warthogs. It was such a good day. My stomach was hurting all day from food poisoning, but what a great day. We continued our Tanzania adventure in Moshi, which to foreigners is known as the place to stay if you climb Mount Kilimanjaro. There are lots of hotels and cafes and shops. What we did there is help arrange the East African Cup, a sports event for youth from countries from East Africa. And many of them had never even left their country before, so this was really special. One of my favorite memories from Moshi was waking up early to have breakfast with this view every morning, seeing Mount Kilimanjaro every day. Okay, one more destination I want to mention. Zanzibar. We had 3 pretty intense weeks with team building, traveling, and cooperating, so the last week we spent on summer holiday in Zanzibar. We went snorkeling, which was amazing. See, this is the view from our boat, and we spent the days at the beach. I can definitely recommend traveling to Tanzania. The people are nice and welcoming, and they speak English. The nature there is just fantastic, as well as the wildlife. These were some geographical facts on Tanzania. Next up is Tajikistan. And we're zooming out. Thank you for watching, guys.